Llamas are neutral mobs, which means they only become hostile when provoked. And lucky for us, using llamas to create armchairs doesn't provoke them. Now, putting one of these in your living room by itself doesn't quite do the job. But surprisingly, all we need is a splash of invisibility to do the trick. When under this effect, we can only see the carpet, letting us get a proper selection of cushions for your sofa. Be questionable, it's hard to deny the results. And with the help of commands, we can keep these llama helpers invisible long enough for the guests to arrive. So if you're tired of squatting on yet another stair, this might be the best solution. Number 2. Most people build their elevators the old-fashioned way. And the original water elevator is about as classic as they come. But if you've got a few hundred bottles of honey lying around, you might want to keep this trick in mind. See, if we were to take all of these honey bottles and make them into a honey block, you notice that they don't quite have a full hitbox. And if you place 2 honey blocks like so, you can see that where they almost meet, a player's hitbox is able to interact with the water inside, letting us lift up almost like magic. And by doing this, we get to play around a lot more with how our standard water elevator looks anyway. Since if you wanted to, you could add a map art item frame and completely hide the inside. And at that point, it really does seem like magic. Number 3. Thinking of the right name for a pet can be tough work. So if you're really strapped for options, this might be a good fallback. All we'll need is a bit of ingenuity and a complete lack of remorse. See, if we were to take one of the name tags that we got from exploring and put it into an anvil, then all we gotta do is go into our settings, change our native language, and then rewrite the name of the name tag as, well, name tag. And then once we change our language back, you notice that we're finally able to name a name tag, and use it as a name tag for our new animal. So if you want to circumvent this one Mojang rule, I guess it's the way to do it. Though I might add, your pet might hate you for it. Number 4. These ordinary fences work just fine for keeping the friendly mobs in and the unfriendly mobs out. And really, that's all you need out of a fence. But what if you want to lure the mobs inside of the fenced area and then trap them there? Well, wouldn't you know it, but with trapdoors, we can actually make a unique fence that does just that. With trapdoors lined up like such in the same direction, all we have to do is wait for nightfall, and then any zombie or creeper that stumbles into the trap won't be able to escape. And the reason being is because they don't see these hitboxes as something they're able to jump over. And just like that, we're able to hop over with these, and we can keep the rest of our mobs inside until we flip the gate. And honestly, that's about all we need. Number 5. Shulker boxes are good for far more than just holding your loot. And thanks to their hitboxes, we can use these just as much as a block as we would as a backpack. See, if you're playing on Bedrock, you may be able to exploit an interesting bug that allows us to walk through walls. No joke, and the execution's actually quite simple. All we need to do is place a shulker box on the side, stand it against a wall, and then open it up for us to be pushed through. And sure enough, as the box expands, we're pushed over to the other side, and we can make quite the escape this way. So if you're looking to get into your friend's base or pull off a magic trick, I think this does a good job at both. Number 6. The Minecraft community spends hours upon hours to find new and creative ways to frustrate the game's developers. And the most recent example of this is the updated double carpet glitch. See, before Mojang patched the original, we could use these double carpeted gaps to freeze mobs in certain squares. And that was a great help for keeping your villagers stuck in one place in the trading hall. But unfortunately, that glitch didn't last too long. At least not in that format. But now we can do basically the same thing by just placing these carpets over bushes instead. And really, whether you're trying to keep the peaceful or the hostile mobs stuck in one place, this just proves the berry bushes can do quite the trick. Number 7. Minecarts are most players' first experience with using redstone. And most players are perfectly fine with using these railroads to get down to the mine shafts or just around their base. But if you're like me, fast isn't fast enough. And thankfully, we don't need any kind of third-party help to beef up our minecarts. But rather, by just arranging the tracks in little circles, we can glitch out the minecarts to move at serious speeds. And while you might want to pop an aspirin for the whiplash, it's a small price to pay to move around your base this fast. And hey, with the help of a boat, we can even do this in a 2-person minecart. So both you and a friend can enjoy the high-powered rails as a team. Just one piece of advice, don't try this out on VR. Number 8. By this point, I'm sure plenty of us are guilty of kidnapping villagers. And while the most straightforward and common way to do that is by nudging them into boats, this might be something to reconsider. Because if you have a herd of cows laying around, we could get them to do the kidnapping for us. By guiding around a group of animals with some kind of food, we can surround the villager and lure them to wherever we want, even through water. And if you wanted to, you could even do this with several villagers at once, which is crazy, but if you want to cut down on trips, it might be necessary. So whether you got cows, pigs, or sheep on hand to help you out, any of those should do the trick. We just wouldn't recommend doing it with goats. Otherwise, that villager might get rammed into a ravine. Number 9. Pillagers are some of the hardest mobs to beat if you're early in the game, and those crossbows can pack a mean punch. But if you have a boat in the spare time, we can actually disarm these pillagers and then let them loose. See, just like the crossbows that you and I use, these pillagers' weapons have a durability limit similar to any other tool in the game. And by placing them inside that boat, they'll harmlessly empty their quiver and destroy that entire bow. And then after disarming the pillagers, us and Java can turn them free and leave them to wander aimlessly throughout the village for the next few days. And believe me, this is definitely the weirdest way to get through a pillager raid. But in my eyes, he'll still be the hero of the village. Sticky pistons and honey blocks, we can make the water fall however we want it to. And then once you remove it, it'll actually stay that way. Simply build your structure, pour some water over top, and then break all of the blocks that you used when you're done. I mean, if you wanted to, you could use lava as well to make your own kind of modern art piece, though to me it looks more like a fire hazard. And really, however you choose to use this trick, it's sure to impress even the most seasoned player.